Okay, welcome everyone. It is the 8th of July. It is my 38th anniversary, by the way, and here I am doing this. I'm going to be in trouble later on, I suspect, but life goes on, and you've got to do what you got to do. I'm really excited about being here tonight because we've just finished the Virtual Hypnotist Course, and a number of people were asking questions that really sort of uh, inspired me to call Michael and get him on the phone and get his agreement to be here and talk with us tonight. Because a while back, Michael DeSchalit, our guest, was in the virtual hypnotist class. Oh well, no way. It goes a little farther than that. I've got to take you back a step. So here's by way of introduction. Picture it, Chicago, October 2017. In front of the fireplace, maybe after one too many cocktails in the Crown Plaza Hotel in Northridge. I was sitting around and met this fellow named Michael DeSchalit, and he was just absolutely delightful. I enjoyed talking with him. I think it's the first conversation that we ever had, and a really dynamic guy with quite a diverse background. I was looking, by the way, Michael, I'm sorely disappointed with your biography, your official biography, because it doesn't say anything about magic. And that was one of the first things that got my attention. And of course, you're just such a delightful fella and dynamic and all of that good stuff. So anyway, we were talking, and I told him that I'd been doing this virtual hypnotist class online, and he was interested. In fact, getting ready to move to Las Vegas, and he took the virtual hypnotist class, and like I'm saying, that's a couple of years ago now, and he really ran with it. It didn't seem to take him any time at all to get up and going and to start investigating on his own for other things that he could do. And before I know it, he was automating it. He was doing things that I had never even considered. So when people ask me about advertising and promoting this business, or about making it run on automatic, I immediately think of Michael. He is the go-to guy for all of that sort of stuff. So that's why I've asked him to be here today, and and I think that's probably enough of an introduction. So Michael, say hello.
Hello, how are you?
Well, I'm great, and I'm
Yay, we're here, we're here.
really appreciate that you are here to talk with us, because we've got a lot of questions for you. But I'd like to just kind of start at the beginning, because I don't want to let you talk to us just about the virtual work that you're doing, but where it is that you come from and how it is that this happened. You, as I said, you started out in magic, and that always intrigues me, and that's what got my attention the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, so here's what I'll give you a little brief background of how I got involved in this crazy world of hypnosis. And but I do want to make one correction to your introduction, though. I was not interested in taking the virtual hypnosis class. I was desperate. Folks, I was desperate. Here I was about ready to move to Vegas. Interested is an understatement. I was about ready to move to Vegas, and I'd had an office for 16 years in Tucson, Arizona, and a very quite successful brick and mortar office. And here I was moving to Vegas thinking to myself, well, you know, I'm good friends with Richard Nongard, and Richard says, yeah, I pay like $800 a month for my office. I was paying $350 for mine in Tucson. And it was a decent office, and I had internet, I had janitorial, I had secretarial, I had conference rooms. I'm thinking I'm not good at math. That was like 2.5 times what I was paying in Tucson. I'm thinking, I don't want to do that. I'm cheap. So I was thinking, there's got to be a way to do this online. And that's when I met Michael. And so the magic, let me explain that a little bit. I got my start in hypnosis actually as a magician. And pardon this little tickle in my throat that I have. The Southern California moisture is wreaking out with my allergies here. But so I got my start in magic as a performer. I was a musician in college, and then became a magician in after college. There wasn't a big demand for solo trumpet players. And so I got involved into magic. I always wanted to be a performer, so that seemed to be a natural fit for me. I loved it. I took some lessons. I excelled very quickly at it. Started off with the close-up sleight of hand stuff, and then ended up, after a while, owning my own illusion show. Big Illusions. Wife goes in the box. I shove spikes and tubes through her and all that stuff, and she comes out unharmed, and the whole 9 yards. And so I had this full illusion show, an hour and a half illusion show. I toured all over the country with it, and made a bunch of money, and just decided I was getting too old and that stuff was getting too heavy. And magic's very, very expensive. Most of my illusions were in the $7,000 to $10,000 range per trick that lasted about 2.5 to 3 minutes on stage. And so I still love magic. I still perform magic. Now my magic show consists of a rolling pilot's case that I can fit my entire show in. I do a comedy magic show and close-up magic and mentalism. And that's, I think, what I was doing, some mentalism that night at the, it was a dark and stormy night in Chicago at the we were drinking Crown Royal or something to that effect. And I don't know how it all happened, but that's how it happened. And so then after magic, I was reading in a magic magazine one day. It said, learn all the secrets of stage hypnotism. Ormond McGill, Jerry Valley, Tommy V, and a host of other trainers, Chuck Magnosa and Serena and the older Serena, a few others, Christina Kaya from Canada. So I took that training and became a stage hypnotist. And it was a real natural fit and an easy transition for me since I'd already been on stage as a performer. And then at my very first show, which was a college sorority show, and I'm giving you the quick and dirty bridge version here, 2 girls came up after the show and they said, we saw what you did to those girls up there. Can you make us quit smoking? And listen to the language pattern that they used, right? We saw what you did to those girls up there. Can you make us quit smoking? And even though I was not qualified to do the clinical stuff, I knew enough about the languaging to know that was not, they didn't have an understanding of it. And I immediately referred them to Dr. Ed Beebe, who lived in Tucson also at the time, and still does, I believe, and used to write for the NGH journal. And I referred him to him because he was the only hypnotist that had an ad in the yellow pages there. So I just said, go see that guy. He'll be able to take care of you. And then I thought to myself, well, I'm missing 2 opportunities. Number one, to save people's lives, to help them become non-smokers. And number 2, I'm leaving a crap ton of money on the table. So that was $1,200 I just let walk away. In my mind, I thought, okay, well, I need to do something about that. So I went back and got certified in hypnosis, and the rest has sort of been history after that. But to bring us up to speed, and here's what I thought I would do, is I'll kind of show you what I do and how I automated the whole system. And I know Michael wants me to talk a little about marketing and getting clients. I'll save that towards the end, but I want to make this a lot like a forum too. So if you do have questions, chime in, raise your hand, and we'll, unmute you or something, and we'll figure it out. I'd like just to make this an open forum. Let's make it very casual. And if you have questions, please jump on in. I'm here to help. I'm here to answer them. And at the end, I'll tell you about a little class that I'm teaching at HypnoThoughts this year that I think might fill a void if you need extra education or something of that nature. Yeah.
And Michael, at the risk of interrupting your flow, if I can just make a couple quick announcements at the onset here, because we do want to talk about what you're doing at HypnoThoughts Live, which is going to be on August 19th, post-conference forum, or post-conference program rather, about all this. And so we'll give you a chance to do that. I also want to let everybody know that because this program is being recorded, there is a group on Facebook called Virtual Hypnotist that folks that have been in the class are members of, and a few other people as well. That's where the replay of this will be posted, so that if Michael says something that goes by you faster than you can grasp it and you need to hear it again, it'll be there for you, and it'll be there for you by noon tomorrow. So with that said, yeah, go ahead, Michael.
Awesome. And so when I took Michael's class, what an eye-opener, because I had seen a few clients online. An interesting client that I saw online was a truck driver. She was a female truck driver, and she had a driving partner. So I would see her via satellite internet connection while she was in the passenger seat of her big rig, and her driving partner was driving. He had earbuds in, so he was listening to his music and jamming out, so he couldn't hear what we were talking about. And I was doing weight loss sessions with her on the road, and every now and then you would see the screen would do that because they hit a bump on the road. It was really kind of comical. But Skype was pretty unstable, and it just didn't fill all the needs that I wanted. You can record on Skype, and this is the old Skype. I don't know, maybe it's changed. I haven't been on Skype in about 5 years. So maybe you can record on it now. I don't know. But at the time, you had to have a separate app to record, and it was a little bojangly and really clunky. And so When Michael told me about this class at Mid-America, I thought, this is literally the answer to my prayers. I called my wife when I went back up to my room and I said, honey, you're not going to believe this guy that I just met. This is like voodoo and witchcraft to me. And he's got everything that I need. I'm signing up for the class like now. And, the recording, the multi, users, if you want to do group sessions, the green screen, which is really just a cool toy, but a very applicable cool toy where you can, appear to be anywhere and really make your backdrop very nice looking, not like the wall that I have behind me. And then he told me, well, the class is like, I forgot what it was, $79 or something like that I paid you. And then he said, yeah, you can get a green screen pretty cheap. And I bought the whole thing for like the green screen and a light kit for like probably another $75. I got about $150 into this. I'm really excited. And to me, that's not even a half a month's rent in an office. And then the other periphery or programs that I use to make this automated, honest to God, and I'll tell you, for the longest time, I didn't even pay for the professional version of Zoom. Why?
Yeah.
I was seeing one-on-one clients. I wasn't doing groups yet. So that was free. I built my own website. So the hosting and all that, let's call that $20 a month. Okay. The Schedule Once program, and I'll go through all these and I'll show you on the screen here. The Schedule Once program that I use for my scheduling, and that talks to Zoom, which also talks to PayPal, which also talks to Wufoo. And this will all make sense when I show you the applications. That costs me $15 a month if I pay the whole year, so $180 a year. So $15 a month. So I'm up to $35 now. Wufoo is free. PayPal is free, other than the charge that they charge you when somebody puts their credit card information. So that's what, 2.5% to 3%, we'll call it. So for $35 a month, I've got a hypnosis practice. Wow, I like this business.
And it costs just that much in Peoria as well.
Yeah, exactly. And or any place. And of course you got to have your laptop, and I have earphones because I have a little bit of hearing loss. And so it just is easier for me. I do have a fancy high definition webcam, which I didn't pack with me for this trip. This is a brand new laptop. So it cost me $1,000 for the new laptop. So, I mean, if you amortize things over time, literally I'm maybe spending $50 a month on my practice, and you really could just do it with this or tablet. You can have everything electronic. So I don't have any paper forms anymore. I don't have files for clients and intake forms. I still have intake forms, but they're not in paper form. So this just makes it so much easier. So let's try to share a screen here. I'm going to put my glasses on too. So apparently I'm like getting really old. I'm 54 now. So I need readers and I need hearing aid things. And pretty soon the dog will be running the computer. So let me see if I can do this here. And bear with me. If you see anything inappropriate on my screen, then you know what? It's probably not my screen. Okay, here we go. Let's see here if I can pop up some stuff. So let me just take you to the website. Now, by show of hands, how many of you have a website for hypnosis practice? Yeah. Okay. It's just everybody, I'm guessing. Mm-hmm. I see a couple other people, their hands did not go up. Raise your hands. Raise your hands. Okay, good. Eric, what are you doing here, Eric? Hey, you're muted. I can read your lips, though. You said Mike is sexy. Nice to see Eric. So yeah, and I'm going to tell you right now, I am a low-tech guy living in a high-tech world. So everything that I've learned through the School of Hard Knocks. I have built my own websites. They're pretty decent. I use a platform called Builderall. Like a Bob the Builder, Builderall, A-L-L, builderall.com. I personally, I would not recommend them. It's a little wonky. It's a little bit of a startup company. It's very, very sharp learning curve. But I don't quit easily either. So I pay I think $29 a month for them. They do some other things for me as far as like lead captures, and we could talk about that on the marketing side. They do lead captures for me. They do things like that. And so it is sort of it's the Zoom of internet of websites for me. You have everything that I wanted. It's just a real pain in the buttinsky to work with. So if you really want to struggle and you want to swear a lot and spend a couple of weeks of your life that you'll never get back trying to figure out how to use it, it does work well when it works. When you figure it out, I should say, when you figure out how to make it work for you, it does work well. So I built this website, and what I wanted to do was I wanted a very, very slim website, a very brief bio. And you'll notice too that on my website, I have buttons all the way through. Start getting results today. They all take you to the same place, which is a lead generation page. Or in this case, it takes you to my free consultation calendaring page. Schedule your free session. I put a little video there with me on it. And I won't bore you with all this stuff. If you want to search it later, it's virtualhypnosisonline.com. It's not the best website in the world. It's not the worst website in the world. What I found, though, the functionality of it, it has everything that I needed. I put all the programs that I offer here. Mindshift program, the life transformation program, the ultimate personal power program. My fees are going up too. I don't see a lot of clients between the end of March and the end of June because I'm on the road quite a bit with hypnosis shows. And quite honestly, yes, I can, because I have Zoom and I have this practice and I can still see them. I don't travel with my laptop a lot on these short trips. I could still do it on my phone. I can do it on tablet. But quite honestly, I'm sleeping a lot during the day because I'm doing shows at 3 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. So I'm pretty tired, and I'm quite honestly lazy, and I don't want to work that hard. I'm making my money doing shows, so I just sort of turn off the funnel system for my hypnotherapy clients, except for the ones that are in a program. So I'll see them. So this is just a little bit about how I run my business. So, but these programs here are the Mindshift program, the transformation program, the ultra personal power program. All those prices are going up. This one's $800, $795. This one's like $1,295. This is like $2,500. And they all have, more sessions. The more expensive the program, the more sessions they offer. You can set up your sessions however you like. You can set up your programs however you like. It's just how I do mine. I do still see smokers, and I do see men for ED issues. And I do offer private in-person sessions. I will tell you, not too many people take you up on this stuff, but if somebody wants to pay me, $10,000, I'll fly out to wherever they're at and see them for a session and do it in their own home if they want. If they want an in-person session. Again, another button which takes you to that calendaring page, which I'll show you here in a moment. I did put a couple of videos because this is new to people. People are used to seeing me. My repeat clients are used to seeing me in an office physically where I can shake their hand and touch them. So I put together little explainer videos, videos that says, hey, I don't see you in person anymore. I see you online. Here's all you got to do. Watch this video, press the button below the video. We'll get you scheduled up. And I don't get a whole lot of blowback on that. Most of the time, they're happy to see me however they can see me. And I do have a products page where I sell some recordings and stuff like that. Honestly, I don't really care too much about that. That's not a major source of my income. It's just there as a convenience. So, of course, my website is tabbed too. So if you want to just go down to the schedule section, you can. The nice thing about it is when somebody goes to any of these buttons and they press any of the buttons, start getting results today, it's going to take them right to, and can you guys still see what's happening on the screen?
Yep. Okay,
are we good? I have a couple of consultations that I offer. If you read the descriptions, it tells you what they're for. Dan Candell, who was on the virtual chapter a while ago as a guest speaker, he and I do some training programs together. And so we use Zoom and my scheduler to meet with potential students that we're going to be teaching hypnosis to. But pretty much the most common one is this one. This is a free, no obligation consultation. This will help you determine if hypnosis is going to be helpful to you and if you qualify for the program. We'll also discuss hypnosis program. That's a typo. We'll also discuss hypnosis programs and program and fee options if it's not a typo. You are under no obligation to commit to any program or service. And once you click that, it takes you right to my scheduler. And they can put in their correct time zone, which is very handy when you're doing online sessions. Because when you're dealing with somebody in Russia, when you're dealing with somebody in the UK, time zones could be a little bit wonky. And I'm not good at math. And so I'm doing a training in Australia in November. And I just always have to remember that Our today is their tomorrow. My 5 p.m. is their 10 a.m. That's all I know. If I have to do any more math than that, I got to start pulling out fingers and toes.
And some of them, by the way, are a half an hour rather than an even number of hours different in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
I have a client who's like 13 and a half hours different from me.
Right. There are some time zones that are half hours in difference. Yeah. It's crazy. So I try to do as little math as possible. The program does it. So they can select their time zone. They hit continue. I won't go through all this because we'll actually schedule an appointment. I personally don't want to see myself. So thanks for laughing, Cindy. The jokes don't get any better. I appreciate that. So anyways, that's all there in my scheduler for me. Now, when they do schedule a consultation, they actually, and I can't do the full automation for you because I'll have to schedule an appointment. They actually come over to, they actually get this form. So what'll happen is they'll go to my website, they'll click the schedule the free consultation button, whichever button they click, all takes them to that same place. All roads lead to Rome, or whatever the saying goes. Once they complete that, Schedule Once will auto redirect them to this page where they will fill out their date of birth, their name, their phone number, email, what they're using hypnosis for, briefly describe what goals you want to accomplish with hypnosis, what is your biggest obstacle keeping you from achieving these goals. And then it goes to page 2, which it won't let me because I haven't filled it out. I ask a little bit more questions like, what will happen if you don't achieve these goals? I think one of the questions I have on one of the forums is also, if money were no object, what would you be willing to do to achieve these goals? Because I want to find out on this form before I even see them for the actual online session what their mental set is. Are they a price shopper? You know, are they just wanting to know if this is $75 an hour or cheaper? Will their insurance cover it? So I want to get them to jump through some hoops. And a little bit of my marketing strategy is that, and we'll kind of jump to that little area for a brief second. A little bit of my marketing strategy is I make people jump through hoops of fire to get to me. It seems a little counterintuitive at times, but the clients that do end up signing up with me, and I have quite a few of them, I've got a pretty busy practice. When my funnel system is turned on, my practice is busy. So those clients that are willing to jump through hoops of fire to see me, to get through all this stuff that they have to do, are going to be the best clients ever. Because some clients will just give up. They don't want to do this form. They don't want to pay online up front. They don't want to do any of the stuff. They don't want to jump through the hoops of fire. They just want to call a number and talk to me and find out how much I am. I don't answer that question ever on the telephone. It's just not going to happen. The best way for you to get to me is to schedule a free consultation. And I tell my clients this, or my prospective clients this. Well, what I do is if I do answer the phone, which whenever it rings, I do answer it. So if they call my 1-800 number on my website, I will answer it. And they'll say, well, you know, what does it cost? What does it do? Well, here, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to cost you because I don't know how much work we're going to need to do. The best thing for you to do would be to go to my website. And is it okay if I text you that web address when we hang up? I promise I won't text you anything else. I'll just text you the web address. That way, if you do that, I found by doing that, my conversion rate went up more than 50%. If I didn't text them the web address immediately after we hung up the phone, they would forget about it. It sounds silly. They just hung up the phone with me, but they would never go back and try to find it again.
Michael, if I can just step in for a second.
Sure.
I had a guy a couple of weeks ago who came to see me for an appointment, and then something actually came up that he had to miss his next appointment. He knew in advance. He let me know, but he let me know by text, and wanted to know when I was available. And I gave him a couple of choices, and then and waited for I think a day and a half for a response from him. At which point the choices that I'd given him were no longer available. And so I had to let him know that. And oh my God, this kind of this kind of, if you're not actually talking to the person with a calendar in front of you live at the same time, can be so exacerbating. And it just seems like what it is that you're doing here just takes that all away.
It does, because schedule once will actually, if they can reschedule through schedule once, they can cancel their appointment, they can reschedule their appointment. If they don't show up to their appointment, I can send out a nice little 1-line or 2-line nastygram to them saying, you missed your appointment. If I'm really nice, I can say, you missed your appointment. Here's a link to reschedule. But my clients know that if you miss an appointment, because it says so in all of the forms they fill out, if you miss an appointment without telling me, without 24 hours notice, I charge you for a session. And again, I sound pretty tough when I say that, but I am also a human being and a consumer and a person myself.
And somebody who shows up to work and expects to get paid for being there. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I'm also softy on the inside. So if somebody calls me and says, oh my gosh, I tried to reschedule, but it was within the 24-hour window and schedule once it would let me. But something just happened. My wife just went into the hospital or something. No big deal. I can go into schedule once, and in a matter of a second, I can do it on my phone and just go right in and just cancel their appointment and send them a reschedule link for when the wife gets out of the hospital. So there's all kinds of fun and cool things you can do with this. So when a person clicks a button, let's talk about a consultation first. Let's talk about sort of the flow chart here. Person goes to the website, they click the button, or they call me. I send them a link to the website. I tell them go down or click the button on the top that says schedule. Right there, it'll take you right down there. You want to choose the button that's on the left that says schedule a consultation. Press that button. Once you press that button, it's going to ask you to choose a date and a time that works best for you. Go ahead and do that, and then we'll meet for 30 minutes online. I'll divulge all my secrets to you then, what my sessions are, what my sessions cost, how long those sessions are, how the sessions work, how hypnosis works. You can even do some suggestibility testing with them if you like. You can do a magnetic fingers test with them if you want. You can do an arms rising and falling with them if you want. While you have them online, if you feel so inclined to do those sessions. By now, I don't, because by now you've called me, you've gone to my website, you pressed a whole bunch of buttons, and after you pick your date and time and schedule once, put in your email address and your telephone number and hit submit, you're redirected to Wufoo, to that form, and you have to fill out that form. Once I get all this stuff emailed to me, which happens instantly after these things are done, I know you're committed. I know you're going to show up. My no-show rate is virtually 0.
Yep.
And I don't want to brag, but I'm going to tell you why. Because in schedule once, and let me get into schedule once here and see where.
By the way, Michael, just for the record, I'm not entirely sure how clearly this screen will record.
Okay.
So although we can see it now, if there's something that people are going to want to remember about later, you might make sure.
I don't think you'll need to remember too much about this. I mean, if you go in and you purchase a membership to schedule once, and you can do like a 2-week trial for free before they bill you for anything. Try it out, press all the buttons, see if you can break it. They have some of the best customer service ever, because once you sign up, they will send you an invitation to do an online session with them where they can show you all the buttons and how they work and what they do. It's the best in the world. I forget because I don't change these pages a lot, but if I have to change a page and I forget how it works, I just schedule a session with them. And they go, yeah, you press this button. I'm like, yeah, I forgot about that button. And so they're really cool about that. I think their tech support is in South Africa, so they have really cool British accents, and they sound very, very sexy. But in here, I can, let me just pick one of my programs here, and I'll see here, booking form and redirect, scheduling options, customer notifications. Let me go down to this for a second, because what will happen is you can set this system up, and let's see if I can get it, reminders and follow-ups. They are going to get they're going to get 3 emails from me. Customer's first reminder, sent right when they schedule the appointment. So they get a notification, thanks for scheduling your appointment with Mike. Here is your link to Zoom. They get an email from Schedule Once. Here's your link to Zoom. When it's time for your meeting, just click on this link. Then they get one 24 hours. So if you scheduled an appointment with me, Eric, for next Tuesday, you'd get the email right now. Then you'd get one 24 hours in advance before your meeting time right here. And it's going to say, hey, just to remind you, we got a meeting scheduled. I don't even know what it says. It's been so long since I programmed that. You can customize that. So we're going to meet in 24 hours. Here's the Zoom link. Don't forget, click on this link when it's time. You'll get one about 4 hours before our meeting time. And then you're going to get one an hour before our meeting time. So you're going to get 4 emails from me before we meet. This is why my no-show rate is so low, because I'm going to email the snot out of you. I am going to bug you until you show up in the nicest possible way. And I tell my clients, this is the right out of my sales pitch. Once you pick a time and date to schedule your consultation with me, we're going to meet for about 30 minutes. Now, once you do that, when you press submit, you're going to be redirected to ask to be filled out another form. That's some general information that's going to help me to help you. I am going to apologize up front because you're going to get a total of 4 emails, actually 5 emails from me. And so you're going to get one right when you schedule, reminding you that you just scheduled an appointment. You get one 24 hours in advance, one 4 hours in advance, one 1 hour in advance. And then you're going to get a thank you email from me about an hour after our meeting, just thanking you for showing up. Notice a little bit of future pacing that I'm throwing in there. Now, I'm not going to let you complain too much, and I try to make a little joke about it. It's just my way of email stalking you, but seriously, I'm not going to let you complain that much about it because I get the same 5 emails. So I have hundreds of clients, so I get emails every day from all these things. Yeah. So is that okay to you?
Scott Babb and I have the same sort of question as you're doing this. At least his is very similar to mine. And that is that, I guess I'm a little confused about how when a person books a session with you, do they get a unique Zoom ID for each session, or do you use your general room ID, or how do you?
Yes, and yes. You can do a unique Zoom ID, or you can use your general Zoom ID.
And does that coordinate with Schedule Once to send them the appropriate ID?
Yes, it does.
Wow.
That's the beauty of it. Yeah, and again, building all these things out is so easy. And I'm going to go back to a second, without getting too much into the techie side of it here. But every one of these events over here, if you can see my cursor moving, free strategic consultation, success strategy setting session, change workers discovery session, those are all just consultations. These other ones down here are different programs. The Mindshift program initial session. And then there's the Mindshift program follow-up session. There's 2 of those for the Mindshift. One of them charges you $795. The other one lets you schedule a follow-up session with no charge because all of my clients pay up front. This is how I keep my no-show rate at 0%. Because you've paid me. If you paid me, you bet your butt you're going to show up to our sessions. After I spammed you 600 times reminding you. So I don't give you a choice. You're going to show up. And again, I say this kind of, harshly now with my tough voice, but I do it in the nicest possible way. My clients love this system because they don't have to do anything. An hour before our meeting, they get a reminder. They just go, oh yeah, all they got to do is focus for the next 60 minutes and show up in 60 minutes. And usually what I will do, with a first-time client, I will call them 5 minutes before our Zoom session, and I'll say, hey, I'm standing by. Are you ready to log on? I'll stick with you on the phone in case you have any trouble. This is the first time somebody logs into Zoom. You got to admit, it's a little confusing. They don't know that there's that little microphone button on the bottom of the screen that sometimes it's slashed out and they gotta unmute it, or sometimes they don't know how to make the video show up. So I'm their tech support. So my clients, after they do it once, they go, man, this is so cool. Can I use this for other stuff? Absolutely, call your grandkids with it. And I always play around and show them the green screen options. I'm an advocate to share what we know, not just in the world of hypnosis, but all the tools that we use to people, because it's great. So you can set up any of these programs, Michael, to answer your question again. You can set them up to a unique Zoom ID or your regular Zoom ID, I think it's one or the other. I think so. If you set them up all with uniques, I think they all have to be uniques. Or if you set them up all with, or if you set one up with your regular Zoom ID number, they're all your regular Zoom ID number.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't think it really matters too much because
different for each client, even if they're in the same program, or are they unique to the program or to the client?
it's unique to the appointment. So we'll say, so that would be the client.
Okay. All right.
Good. So it's unique to the appointment. Yeah.
Good.
So, and you could do so many things with this. And like I said, so the flow chart is client goes to a website or calls me. I text them the website. They click on the button that says schedule a free consultation. They put in their name, their email address, their telephone number, the time and date that works best for them. They click submit. They get sent to Wufoo to fill out that form, that information form. Then they get the series of emails start for them. And then I get those same emails. I get the Wufoo form emailed right to me right after they complete it. So I know what their answers to those questions are. If I want to, I can print them off. If not, I can go in Wufoo and pull them up when I've got the client there with me. So again, all paperless at this point.
Nice.
That's the flow chart. Now, once we've had the consultation, this may sound surprising to you, but during the consultation, I'll tell them how much it costs. And then once I tell them how much it costs, I'm not going to try to sell them. I just say this to them. Now we've come to the time where I'm going to tell you what the program costs. After I do that, or before I do that, I'm going to make sure that I've satisfied all your questions. After I tell you how much the program costs, I'm going to simply, and this is my big sales pitch, I'm simply going to ask you, what do you want to do? And if you say, I'm ready to start, I'm going to say, okay, here's what you're going to need to do. You need to go back to the website and you need to schedule an appointment. If you say no, or maybe I need to think about it, you're never going to hear from me again. With the one exception of that thank you from Schedule Once you're going to get that says, thanks for showing up to your consultation. You'll never hear from me again because I'm not going to be that guy that's going to try to sell you something you don't want. Mm-hmm. My conversion rate for sales is 95% plus. And the 5% or so that don't sign up with me are either, well, most of the time I need to think about it, I need to talk to my husband about it, or my wife about it. I need to see I have to wait and save up enough money for it. It's never a hell no, this is the dumbest idea ever. I've never gotten that one. I've never gotten anybody say this is horrible. This is stupid. I don't want to do it. I'm sure I'll get one day. The majority of the time it's a money issue. That's really just what it is. Or they got to talk to their spouse about it, which I totally appreciate. And I just tell them, you know how to find me. You got the text message in your phone, or you know my web address. You just go right there and you schedule up the appointment. So then they'll go back to the website, and I make them do this. I do not schedule the appointment for them. Even if they say right now online in the consultation, yes, I'm ready to go. Can you schedule me up? No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to babysit. And it sounds a little bit mean. It sounds a little bit rough. But you got to remember, my no-show rate is almost zero.
Yeah, you got a yes set going on.
So, and think about this. Well, I'm not good with the computer. I don't know. Oh, can you just do it for me? And I'm not saying it that way to make fun of these clients, okay? But
I was amused.
If you do that, you are doing them a great disservice, and you are now going to get a client that's like a grenade with the pin has been pulled. Yeah. Okay? Because you're going to be doing everything for them, including going and slapping the cigarette out of their mouth when they want to stop smoking. Okay? My clients are highly motivated because I make them jump through these hoops of fire. My clients are dedicated and committed to making a change before we even have a damn session. If you got to this point with me to schedule a session, you've already scheduled the consultation, you've showed up, you filled out some forms, you've then filled out another appointment, you filled out more forms because they get my, I'll show you in Wufoo here real quick. They get my, get to you, there you are. They get my client form and disclosures. So I've put all my disclosures here on one page, I think. Well, it's 2 pages. I lied. On the second page, it's the client bill of rights. It's I don't think that's it. Yeah, it's maybe I can't find it right now. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do 2 things at once. Yeah, it's on there, but it's the client bill of rights, the disclosures, what all the fees are, which they've already known by now because I've discussed those with them. The fact that they're going to be video recorded, all those disclosures, all those things that we have to do. And all they have to do is check the boxes saying, I agree. By checking this box and by hitting submit, I agree to all the terms and conditions listed herein.
Okay.
That's
Michael, we've got a question from Elizabeth right on what you're talking about right now. And
okay.
He says, being all digital, do you run into any issues with legality or signatures? And if there's something in Woohoo that captures a signature, like on a client bill of rights or consent for recording?
Not necessarily, because, and I'm going to say a pretty hard no on that, because on the form itself, I put a little checkbox. So, and it says, by checking this box and by hitting submit, you are now authorizing and agreeing to, I don't remember the legality. I had a lawyer do it for me. So,
and that's how we all signed our lives over to Microsoft or to Apple or whoever it is.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So, no, the answer is no. And the funny thing about this is too, is I think you'll see less lawsuits with virtual hypnosis. I believe that if you specialize, okay. And I've specialized. The clients that I work with, all those 3 major programs that I have are for peak performing clients. I work with peak performers. I work with people that want to go to the next level in life. They're already great. They want to be greater, or the greatest at what they do. The only normal clients that I work with, quote unquote, normal hypnosis clients I work with, are smokers and ED.
Yeah.
I don't work with weight loss anymore online. Yeah. I just don't do it. I don't have a passion for it. I still train it. I train the program that I created, the hypnotic gastric band system. I just don't want to do it right now. So, I'm going to be stubborn and stick to the clients that I want to work with. And again, those clients are already peak performers. They already know. And quite honestly, for them, they'd rather meet me online in the privacy of their own office or in their own home or in their hotel room when they're traveling. Mm-hmm. And their wife doesn't know that they're talking to me about ED, or their girlfriend doesn't know, or whatever it is that they're talking to me about. They'd rather do that than come to an office and sit in the lobby where they're a high profile client and other people might know who they are.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of anonymity to this. So yeah, I think the general Zoom meetings, did I miss anything over here in the chat room? Scott Babb.
No, these are the things we've talked about.
Okay, gotcha. Perfect.
By the way, we did talk in the class generally about legal issues, and I just want to underscore it again, because bear in mind there are two kinds of legal issues. One of them has to do with criminal codes and especially if you're working with people in another state, there are things that just don't come up. They're the kind of issues where one state may have some regulations about the practice of hypnosis, for instance, mm-hmm. And if you're practicing it with somebody in another state, the problem is that the consumer, the district attorney where the consumer is located, doesn't have any authority to be able to enforce a cease and desist order against you in another jurisdiction entirely. Mm-hmm. So these things never go anywhere. But they're the kind of things that typically don't arise out of client complaints anyway. They arise out of somebody reading ads and deciding to go after folks in their jurisdiction. So I'm not aware of anything like that ever happening online. Civil suits are a different matter. They can happen whether you're online. They can happen whether you're in your office or anything. And they are so few and far between that I've never had any concern about that. And being online or not being online, there's no difference in how that works out anyway.
Let me answer a couple questions over here. Rachel, how do you coordinate it by populating a unique Zoom ID? I believe you do that in Schedule once. And then you might actually have to have the professional version of Zoom to do that. I don't know, what's that, $15 a month or something? And then the question of payment plans via PayPal or Square hasn't been answered yet. Oh, Cindy, you're a woman after my own heart. We're going to talk about money now, aren't we? Yes, we are. I'm saving the money part for last because it's my favorite. Okay, so let's talk about this, and I'm going to answer that question in detail. So after they've had the consultation with me, they go away. Okay, if you're ready to continue with me, Eric, you go right back online. If you need me to text you the web address, I'll do that again. You just go right back online, schedule that appointment. Now it's going to ask you to pay up front. So when you do that, it's going to go through PayPal. It's all a secure payment. You're going to make that one-time payment to me. And that's going to cover your whole program. And then so that when you come to schedule your reinforcement sessions, your follow-up sessions, you won't ever have to pay me again. Okay? Is that clear? Do you have any questions? And I will talk them through that. So they know they're going to pay. So then all kinds of lights and buzzers go off on my phone. It's really cool. I get an email. Somebody just scheduled the session. Oh, good. New client. I get a new client form on Wufoo. Somebody, oh, that's the same person. Awesome. And then I get bing or a cha-ching. And my phone goes cha-ching. Because PayPal goes, you have $1,295 in your account right now. I'm like, boom. I love it. Now, let me further answer that question as far as payment plans via PayPal. Okay. Payment plans. As of today, I do not offer a payment plan. As my rates go up, I will, which is a little bit wonky with Schedule Once, and I've got to be talking to their programmers about that. There is a way to set it up through PayPal to do a payment plan. I just haven't done it yet. Actually, I take that back. I can't lie. I've done it once, and I don't remember how I did it. And I just broke it up into, there was like an $800 program, and I broke it up into 4 payments of $200. And PayPal does that automatically for you. That's the beauty of this, is all these things do this automatically for you. And there's no way they can get out of the payment. It just takes it right from their credit card. And then the wording in the PayPal statement is, by clicking this box and by submitting your credit card number, you agree that you will be paying the $800 total. And there's no way to get out of it. There's no refunds. There's no, I don't think hypnosis worked. There's none of that out for them. Okay. And you're right, Scott, PayPal credit is great. That's another way of doing it. I quite honestly, I refer people when I'm doing my training programs. Right on my website, I say, here's what it costs to come to the training program. You can do, now we do payment plans for that because we'll break it up into 2 payments because they're like $5,000 programs. So you can pay $2,500 now and $2,500, 2 weeks before the training starts, non-refundable either way. You're showing up. Or here's another option. Get a PayPal credit card. 0% interest for 6 months. Just let somebody else be the bank. If y'all know Kwitai Neal, Dr. Kwitai, I learned 2 great things from her when I first met her. Number one is don't be the bank. Okay, you're not the credit card company. Don't be the financier. Let them figure that out on their own. Okay, let them pay monthly payments to their credit card, not to you. Okay. The other thing that I learned from her was she said this, and I'm going to impersonate her. She says, "You need to get your poop in a group." And she says it's so cute, and she dresses like a waitress at an Asian restaurant. And she says, "You need to get your poop in a group." And I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "Get your shit together." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And so I don't know why we're talking like her, but anyways, that's 2 things I learned from Dr. Kwitai Neal. I love her. She's a sweetheart. So once they schedule their appointment, they pick a date and time. They put their name and email address and telephone number in. And then then it takes them to PayPal and they make the payment. And then it takes them to Wufoo and redirects them to that Wufoo form that they fill out their disclosure and their client forms. So all this stuff is done behind the scenes and I have to do nothing. And it costs me little to nothing to have this happen. It just took me probably maybe a few days. Now it'll take me a few hours to change anything in the system. That's the time. That's the commitment you're making to this. If you want to automate, it just takes you a little bit of time. That's all. And the cool thing about Schedule Once, and I'm going to share my screen again here, is I do want to show you one thing. In Schedule Once, and this is the beauty of it, you don't have to recreate the wheel. When you create the Mindshift Program initial session, that one's going to take you an hour because you're going to go, okay, what buttons do I push? And when you're setting this up, you're like, okay, scheduling options. Let's see. Automatic booking. Yep. Booking with approval. The booking requires approval to be created. Customers must suggest a time, how many times they want to suggest to you that they're available, and then you have to approve it. Nah, you don't want to be that. The Brake Masters does that. When you go get an oil change, You send them 3 times that you want to bring in your car for an oil change, and they'll send you back the one that they approve. No, I want to pick the time. I want the client to pick the time. So I check that box. Single session. Customer books a single session or multiple sessions. Session package. You can choose whichever ones you want. It's just clicking buttons. But you got to go through these. You got to go through these forms. Duration is an hour. Starting time on the hours. Starting time slots must leave 1 hour apart. Okay, so I can have time in between sessions. And you can set these up to 15 minutes apart, 0 time apart. You can have one client start at noon and another client start at 1 if you want. Personally, I don't want to work that hard. So I like 30 minutes in between my sessions. That's how I have mine set up. Time frame rules before the event. No surprises. Please provide a lead time at least 1 day before the meeting time that they cancel the event. So they can't cancel or reschedule without giving me 24 hours notice. The system will not let them do it. They'll have to call me now. And they have to beg for forgiveness. Well, or at least ask me if they can reschedule. Most of the time I let them, because if they call me, again, they've jumped through a hoop of fire to get to me. They're doing their part. They're motivated. Crap happens in life. I get it. I had one lady that I let slide on that. Her mom was going into hospice. She says, if I don't show up to the appointment, give me 15 minutes and send me a text message. If I don't answer you, it's probably because we had to put my mom into hospice. And I'm like, I get it. I totally get it. And she goes, otherwise I'll answer you and I'll at least say, I got to call you back. I'm like, get it. We had a code. We had this figured out. So, and sure enough, she missed her appointment. 15 minutes later, I texted her. She did not respond. I figured, you know what? I will cancel the appointment. I'll send her a reschedule link so she can reschedule when all this stuff blows over with mom. And that's exactly what happened. All you have to do is communicate with your clients. Payment schedule, you can set up all that payment history. There's the money. That's what I charge, US dollars. Cancellation. I'm just going through this kind of quickly. If you need to reschedule this appointment, please give 24 hours notice. Any rescheduling of less than 24 hours will be billed at the regular session rate, and a session will be deducted from your program. I typed that in there. I was able to add that in there. So again, this is why I have almost zero, 99.9999999% no-show rates. So you can fill out all these. The first one that you do will probably take you an hour. Pour yourself a glass of brandy or whatever you drink and sit down and just go to it. The cool thing about this is then when you want to create the next ones, you just make a copy of this one and go ahead and edit the few little details you need to edit. What you'll find isn't that much, okay? So does that make sense to everybody? Can I get a head nod?
Yep.
Can I get a hallelujah? Start the wave. We'll go from the bottom up. Kevin, you start. No, it's up and down, Kevin, not side to side. Do it right. Okay. We're going to take Kevin out of the group now. We're muting you, Kevin, visually. We're taking you off camera. So does that make sense to you guys? I mean, I know I'm going really fast, and I'm not, we can't in an hour and a half or so teach you how to set up your own program, but these are the tools though. So if you want to make notes, if you want to write things down, here's what I would write down. And this will be in the replay too, and I'll try to go slowly on this. Here's the tools that you need to make this happen. And then we'll talk a little bit about marketing. You need a website. Any website that you can edit, that you can add buttons to or a link to that will take you to a Schedule Once link. Now in Schedule Once, they will create the button for you and the code for you. So all you have to do is cut and paste the code and paste it into your website. If that doesn't make sense to you, hire somebody to build your website, because we're already going to lose you on that, okay? They create the button for you, just like PayPal creates a button for you to put on your website if you're selling a CD,
right?
Okay? They do the same thing. So you could have a schedule your appointment here, click that button, take you right to Schedule Once. So you need a website, however you want to do that and build that. You need Schedule Once, which now I'm going to throw a wrench in the spokes here and just tell you this. It's not called Schedule Once anymore. It's called something else. Schedule Now, only schedule, I don't even know. But if you type in your search bar, scheduleonce.com, it'll automatically redirect you. Okay? So just Schedule Once. I'm old school. I still call it what it was originally called.
And we do have a question for you about Schedule Once and the features that you're showing in it. Are these in the professional level or the enterprise level?
$15 a month, $180 a year. You got to pay the year up front.
You
If
know
you
if
don't
that's
pay up front, it's like $18 a month.
Is that professional or enterprise?
I don't know. I'm not looking at it. I want to say, what are the levels? Are you looking at it now, Michael?
I'm not. Elizabeth was.
Okay. Yeah. If there's a free one, and I think it's the next level up or the one right after that.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's one of the questions, and I'll answer this one. It'll make sense if you try to press all the buttons on that. It's the number of booking pages that you get. And let me explain it quite simply, or what I think is simply. Let me get back to Schedule Once and I'll show you.
By the way, Schedule Once is now oncehub.com, I believe.
Once Hub, that's it. Thank you. It's called Once Hub. Yeah. But if you search Schedule Once, I'll always call them Schedule Once, just like I call Costco Price Club. But anyways, so booking pages. I have 2 booking pages. And let me explain what those are. One booking page, and this is just what I called them. It doesn't mean anything. You can change the names of what you call it. You can call it consultations and sessions if you wanted, which is if I ever changed them, that's what I would change them to. All my consultations, these 3 right here, are in this booking page. Now that means that if you go to my website, you see this pop up. Because, and there's no money mentioned here. This is all free. Okay. I didn't want my fees on this page. I wanted to do a face-to-face consultation first. Okay. Because if you just show them your fees right away, they're price shopping. They're going to go, oh, it's too expensive. I can't afford it. I don't know if it's going to work. And then they never sign up. Now, if you go over here, which is why I put them in sort of reading order from left to right, schedule a free strategic consultation. So what I tell them to do is schedule this. Now, if you go to schedule a session, this page pops up. Now you can see all my fees. But you wouldn't know this exists unless you press that second button. And why would you, as a new client, just right away want to pay me money? You're going to want to do that free consultation first. And that's where I'm going to direct you to go first. Once you meet me, once I see you, once I talk to you about your issue and you want to, what you want to make changes to in your life, and once I tell you a reasonable solution to making changes to those issues, and I'm a nice guy online, not like I'm with you guys, I'll actually put on something more than a t-shirt. I'm traveling, so I didn't dress up, and quite honestly, I'm wearing shorts right now. So, which doesn't change, by the way, when I do sessions. I still wear shorts. I just wear a nicer shirt because you only have to dress from the waist up. Isn't that right, Eric?
Well, we're glad to know that you're wearing shorts, Michael.
I am wearing shorts, yes, not just boxers. That was a visual for you, Scott. So all my fees are here. They're all listed. And this is the page they go to when they want to book their initial session and their follow-up sessions. Does that make sense?
Nice. So
that's 2 booking pages, okay? So I have 2 booking pages as opposed to 1 booking page. And I don't even know how to get back to where I just was. Let's just do this. Oh, I'm over here someplace. Yep, right over here. So 2 booking pages. Now they offer other programs, there are other pricing things where they offer you more booking pages. Quite honestly, you don't need them. Unless you're setting up Schedule Once. If you are wanting to add another hypnotist to your practice who's going through your payment portal, your calendaring system, you can do that. That gets really complicated. Don't ask me. Call Schedule Once. They'll help you. That's what they're there for. They're really good at it too. Okay. So I know that's a lot of information. But okay, so you wrote down, build a website, make sure it's editable. Schedule Once, or Once Hub as it's called now. Wufoo, spelled WUFOO. It is free. You set up a free account. You build forms. You can do dates. You can do drop-down boxes. You can do phone number boxes. It's fun. Just play with it. It's easy. The free version of this, you can create up to 5 forms for free. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 forms already. I have 1 form left. Upgrade for more. I think it's like $5.99 a month to go professional with them. I think. Let's see. What's pricing right here? I froze up. Pricing at the top of the page. I lied. $19 a month. You get up to 10 forms, 1,000 entries per month. If you go annual, you save 25%. So they knock it down a few bucks. Again, either pay office rent or pay these people. I don't have 5 forms yet, so I don't have to pay them anything. So you've got build a website. You've got Schedule Once or Once Hub. You've got Wufoo. PayPal. You need a PayPal account. And I think that's it. Oh, Zoom. Yeah, you need Zoom. The most important one, you need Zoom. But you all have those. Those are the 5 tools. Those are the 5 platforms that you need to make this happen.
Nice.
Yeah. And in a full day class, I can actually get in there. We can actually set up one. We can play with it. We can press buttons and have more time on that. I just can't do this in the time that we have.
Sure.
So now marketing. Unless anybody has any questions, you want to talk a little bit about that? Would that help you guys?
Yeah, they certainly do.
Okay.
They ask for it, and that's why we got you here. So thanks. This is fantastic, Michael, by the way. We really appreciate what you're sharing. And
oh, no problem. I'm happy to. Well, and I'm going to put a little blame right now where blame is due. I blame Michael Watson for all of this. He started it with me. He planted this seed in my head and corrupted my mind and made me do all this stuff. So it's his fault. I will forever blame him for everything that I'm responsible for at this point.
Great.
Good. Okay. And I mean that with love and kindness to you, my friend. So that being said, marketing, here's my approach. I'm not a marketing genius. So everything that I do is very guerrilla type marketing, very hands-on marketing, very in-their-face marketing, and very much old school. I use Facebook a lot. I will admit to you right now that when I change my fees on my programs, I'm going to have to do some Facebook ads or Facebook marketing to really beef things up to build a client base up even more. Okay. I had a 16-year practice in Tucson. I got most of my business on referrals from that, and I still get business from referrals from Tucson. When you build your website, or even if your website is already built, buy some domain names, buy a bunch, buy a few. I own like hypnotisttucson.com. I don't live in Tucson anymore, but probably 50% of my business comes from Tucson because people still follow me. Actually, I had a guy schedule a consultation with me and he showed up to my old office in Tucson. I thought it was hysterical. He didn't find the humor in it, but I did. And I told him, I said, no, dude, I told you we meet online. And he goes, well, I'm here at your office. And I said, talk to Mrs. Opal. She was my secretary. Yeah, I said, give me the phone. Let me talk to her. Hey, is there a conference room available this gentleman can use? I know I don't rent there anymore, but just put him in a room where he has some privacy. And she goes, yeah. So she put him in a conference room. He got on his phone. We connected on Zoom. We finished the consultation.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah. And so there's always going to be a way to work this out. But so I get a lot of referrals from past clients. I get a lot of referrals or get a lot of business from domain names that I have. Hypnotist Tucson, Hypnotherapist Tucson, Tucson Hypnotherapy, Tucson Hypnotist. I bought all those domain names. I learned this from Jason Lynette. Jason is a great guy. He's a smart guy. So smart. Makes me mad sometimes how smart he is. But he has Virginia Hypnosis. Think in the mind of a consumer. Think of a mind of a consumer. If you want to quit smoking in Omaha, Nebraska, what are you going to search? Motivating Minds Hypnosis. No, that's stupid. Nobody's going to find me based upon the name of my business. That's ridiculous. Nobody's going to go, I bet there's a hypnotist company called Motivating Minds Hypnosis. It would make sense. Let's Google that. Virginia Hypnosis. I live in Virginia. I need hypnosis. Virginia Hypnosis makes sense. Okay. I purchased Virtual Hypnosis online because that made sense. I get a lot of hits from that email or that web address. So play around with it. My recommendation is I go through GoDaddy to buy my domain names. I only purchase them for a year. I'll see what the results look like after a year. And if they look good, then I'll renew them. If not, I just let them go. So also, anything that you can think of, if you're specializing in, stop smoking Virginia or stop smoking Tucson or any catchy domain names that you can buy. I came up with a clever one. At least I thought it was clever. It didn't really net me anything in results. But a friend of mine owned a motivational speaking company called The Leader Within Us. And he wanted the leaderwithinus.com for his domain name, but it was taken. And so he bought the leaderwithin.us. The Leader Within Us. Makes sense, right? Because if you're searching the name, The Leader Within Us, it'll come up as a near hit. Okay. So I bought the best hypnotist in the .us. And I bought the best hypnotherapist in the .us. Didn't yield me crap. So I let him go after a year. So that's available, Eric, if you want to buy the best hypnotist in the .us.
Michael, do you know Richard Bandler's two business names when he started out with NLP?
What's that?
He had two lovely business names. One of them was Unlimited Limited, and the other one was Not Limited.
Not limited. And again, so, and you know, when you're branding yourself, you got to brand yourself correctly from the top to bottom and back up again. Everything has to be the same. It's got to look the same. All your websites have to be the same. These are mistakes that I've made. Trust me, I have made a lot of mistakes. And I am not the branding professional you need to be talking to. I can tell you the mistakes that I've made so that you don't. Don't try to have so many different websites, one for smoking, one for this, one for that, you know, unless you're going to specialize in just smoking cessation or whatever. Try to keep everything in a nice little neat package, not too sophisticated, not too fancy. Just think of the consumer and think of how easy it is, and go to some really crappy websites and try to figure it. Go to Home Depot and try to figure out if they have something in stock. It's the crappiest website on the planet for that. Or I'm sorry, Lowe's. Lowe's is crappy. Home Depot will tell you what aisle and what shelf it's on.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so visit the good ones, visit the bad ones. And if you need to outsource somebody to make your website, what is it? Fiverr or Odesk, which is not Odesk anymore. It's something else. You can Upwork. Thank you, Elizabeth. Upwork. Yeah. So, yeah, actually pay attention to those names. I just can't remember them. I remember the old names. So yeah, that's just how it works. So, you know, and then, you know, play with the free versions of Schedule Once. Play with it for 2 weeks. Do the call with them. See if it matches up with you. If it doesn't, then find another platform. This one just works because it talks to Zoom. It talks to PayPal. It talks to Wufoo. It just talks to everything that I use. And that's why as I started exploring this, Michael, when you talked about the class, I'm thinking Zoom does everything I need it to do. Holy smokes. And then I thought, wait a minute, how can I automate this? And then I found Zoom just talks to everything. Right. And they talk to more things other than that. So if you're using Infusionsoft, they talk to Infusionsoft. I mean, these are just the platforms that I use. Mm-hmm. So, you know, don't be afraid to dig in there. Don't be afraid to call Schedule Once or Once Hub, whatever it's called now, and schedule that call with them. Take the time and do that. Make sure that it works for you before you buy it. I can tell you right now, when that renewal comes at $180 a year, I am so happy to watch my credit card bill come in at, $180 renewal, annual fee to Schedule Once. I'm like, thank you so much. This is so much less I have to think about. Oh my God, I don't have to send out an email saying, don't forget our appointment tomorrow. Wufoo, play around with that. Have fun with it. You can create surveys with it. I have a forum on there for my hypnosis shows. So when somebody goes to my performance site and they want to book a show, they can fill out a booking form, the date of the event, the time of the event, how many people are going to be there, what kind of event is it, what's your budget look like? So before I call them back, I can have all those answers right in front of me. Now I know how to price myself. Now I know how to sell the show. It's a great tool for stage hypnotists. But you can make all these things talk and make them all work together for you. I think Zoom does accept other payment forms. I think they might accept Stripe or something else. I just use PayPal. It's, you know, I haven't had any issues with them. And if I had small ones, I just called them and they were resolved. There's a way to set up refunds through PayPal and Schedule Once too. So if you need to do a refund, if something happens, or there's a way to do that. I just don't offer refunds.
I just want to interrupt you because I think you might have misspoken a second ago. You said you think that Zoom accepts Stripe.
Stripe?
you don't mean Zoom, you mean schedule once, right?
That's what I meant. You're right. Schedule once. Thank you. Thank you for catching that. Yeah, schedule once. I believe they accept Stripe or another form of payment. Okay. So back to the marketing though. Facebook posting is what I do. I posted that video on Facebook about, and I'm at Disneyland doing a Zoom session with a client. I didn't mention the client's name. I didn't mention anything like that. So it was appropriate. And because of that, I picked up more, people that I hadn't talked to in a while that were old clients that are friends of mine on Facebook. They go, oh, wow, I didn't realize you moved. And I didn't realize you could do that. Wow. And I booked 3 appointments because of it.
Nice.
So not only did that client that I saw in Disneyland on the session pay for the Disneyland trip, but that also paid for that Facebook Live video that I did as a result of that, paid for another trip to Disneyland, which I didn't go. I just kept the money instead. Because after 4 days in Disneyland, I needed therapy. And a lot of it, quite honestly. Other forms of marketing, build in lead captures to your website. Give something away for free, like a free strategic consultation session. You can do that in Facebook post. Use the button you would create or the link that you would use to get them to your schedule once consultation page. Just use that link, put it in a Facebook post. Hey, for the next 10 days, anybody that signs up for this gets a free strategy consultation. Now, that might get you jam-packed busy with consultations, but if you got nothing else going on, why not? And maybe 1 out of every 10 people book. So if you did, we'll be conservative, 5 consultations a day, 30 minutes each. So that's 2.5 hours of work for 10 days. So that's 50 consultations. And if you got 1 out of every 10 at say $800, my current cheapest program, $800. So you gotten what? Let's see. So you got 5 clients, right? So you would have picked up 5 clients times $800. That's $4,000. Or you could sit at home wondering why the phone's not ringing.
Yeah.
Just be creative. Print business cards, hand them out, go to mixers, go to networking events. I'm not a big fan of being those guys at those networking events. Hi, here's 2 of my cards. Give 1 to a friend. I never do that. I only give my card when somebody asks for one. But I make sure when I get their card that it's okay that they sign up for a free session with me. Mm-hmm. They go, how do I do that? Well, here's my card. Just go to this website and do that. It's not hard. It's not difficult at all to do this. You got to get off the couch. That's the hardest thing in marketing. Whether you're doing it on your desktop, whether you're a brilliant whiz like Jason Linett is, whether you can write the best Facebook ads, whether you have the best website. Your website is only as good as the people that you get to it. That's it. You can have the best website in the world, but you have no traffic. Doesn't matter. So how are you going to get them to that website? Speak, do free presentations. I still do free presentations all the time. Mm-hmm. Any school that wants me to do a presentation on hypnosis, any college, I do college lectures. What does it take me, an hour to do a presentation? Plus 30 minutes drive time there, 30 minutes drive time home.
Well, now, by the way, because this has always been my rule of thumb, in a local community, there's somebody that has the job of being the speaker getter, and when they started out with that job, they knew 6 people and they thought they were going to be great at it. And then 6 months into it, they're looking for speakers. So you can do that locally. But interestingly enough, online, you have the opportunity through all the folks that we know. Everybody that I know is doing a podcast or an interview show. Yeah. Put on the right ones. You're reaching that virtual market. These are people that sit in front of their computer. Mm-hmm.
There's TV talk shows too. You mentioned podcasts. Thanks for bringing that up. That's a new one. I mean, new for me. I don't do a lot of podcasts. I've done a few. Somebody actually posted on your Facebook post today about tonight's presentation. Mm-hmm. And somebody posted, I saw him on listened to him on Jason's podcast a couple months ago. And it's like, see, this stuff just, I'm reading a book now. This is a great book, by the way. I bought it from Terry Stokes, another great stage hypnotist. It's called Life is a Contact Sport. Mm-hmm. This guy who wrote it was Kenny Rogers' manager, and I think still is maybe. Lionel Richie's, Trisha Yearwood's, and somebody else. I don't know, some famous people. And he said, try to string a trail of events together. Okay. So I've got this session with you. Dan Kendall and I have a couple of online classes that are coming up this month. So we'll promote those. And at those classes, we'll promote the next event that we have coming up.
Yeah.
If you can get 2 or 3 events in a row, 2 or 3 speaking events in a row. Hey, last week I spoke at Rotary, the Sunshine Rotary Club in Tucson. And next month I'll be speaking at Kiwanis over at Ventana Canyon. And the following month I'm going to be speaking there. And that adds so much credibility to who you are and what you do when you present yourself. People go, oh my God, this guy is super, super busy. Mm-hmm. This guy's crazy, crazy busy. And people want to work with successful people.
I have a tip in here, by the way, because not only I mentioned podcasts, but not only about being on them. I'll tell you what, Michael, you were on Jason Linnett's podcast. I was promoting the Virtual Hypnotist class, the one that most of these folks that are on this call tonight were signed up for. I typically have closed that class after 12 registrations. Mm-hmm. But what happened was I was looking at my computer one day, and all of a sudden I got a hit, and I got another hit, and I got another hit, and people started registering for this class. I ended up with 25 people in a 12-person class because you guys talked to me on a podcast. I didn't even have to do the podcast. That's automagical.
Isn't that powerful? So Jason and I will be expecting our royalty checks to be sent to us for that. And at least I'll just take a big hug from me when I see you in Mid-America. And so I'll take that.
No, you can just buy me a drink.
I can just buy you a drink? What a great offer. I mean, how does that work? Maybe I'll buy you 2. You're such a nice guy. Anyways, so be a little bit creative in your marketing techniques. You still have to get off the couch. I mean, marketing an online business can be no different really than marketing a brick and mortar hypnosis practice. Mm-hmm. It just depends on how you want to do it. Now, granted, if I just go to do presentations in the Vegas market where I live and hit all the Rotary clubs like I did in Tucson, I hit 13 Rotary clubs in Southern Arizona a couple of years ago. I did the whole Rotary tour. I got so many free lunches and breakfasts that year. I didn't have to I didn't have to pay for lunch for like months. And they give you a free pen and a pin and a little certificate for speaking at them. And you meet great people. Mm-hmm. And they know people too that know people that need help. And that's where it leaves the Tucson marketplace or the Vegas marketplace, because they've got a granddaughter in Minnesota who's afraid of needles and has to get some blood work done. Yeah. True story, by the way, got that client.
Yeah.
Because grandpa heard the presentation in Rotary that day. Grandpa never used me, will probably never use me.
Right.
But his granddaughter did in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Works for me. So don't think that even though you're marketing to a local group that it's not going to go global. A client, one more quick story and then we'll move on. A client of mine who came to me for smoking 15 years ago when I was just getting started, from England originally, lives in Tucson now, and came to me for smoking. I was doing a 3-session smoking program at the time, and came to me after the first session, became a non-smoker. That was it. He never smoked again. Still has not smoked. Came back for his other 2 sessions. We worked on other things that he wanted to improve on, self-confidence and all that. Mm-hmm. Came to see me I came to see him a few years later in a hospital bed when he was getting triple bypass. Not because he smoked again, but he was afraid. He needed me for fear, and he wanted to recover faster. I went and made a house call. I made a hospital bed call. I've never done that before. I'd do it for him, because after he came to see me for smoking, he sent his wife to see me for smoking. And then she saw me for weight loss. And then he's seen me after the heart episode for 3 other things. One of them was the male thing. And one of them was success and confidence. And one was he needed some more confidence to find another job. And then he came when we moved to Vegas. He came to Vegas on a family vacation, brought his brother in from England to Vegas. We met for lunch. He bought me lunch, bragged about me to his brother. His brother is now a client of mine to stop smoking in England.
Right.
It just never ends.
But he can smoke in other countries then, is that right?
What's that?
You said his brother's now a client.
That's fine. Okay, I just got that. Thank you very much. Yes. And
So we've got a couple questions that are right along this order here. Scott asked first, are you collecting any testimonial videos via Zoom?
You know what? I don't. I need to. And I'll tell you, I don't have really any testimonials on my website either. It's kind of funny. Hasn't stopped my business. I probably should have testimonials. I haven't, but yeah, I will definitely collect them on Zoom so you can record the video and then edit it. Absolutely.
Cool.
If clients feel inclined to do that. I will tell you though, honestly, and a client or a prospective client asked me this other day, she goes, how come you don't have any testimonials on your website? She goes, that's really big. I build websites. I know. Like, okay. I said, well, most of the clients that I work with are professional athletes or high powered people, and they don't want their name on my website.
Yeah.
They want their picture on my website. They want total anonymity.
Sure.
I worked with a guy in Tucson. He wouldn't even let me video record a session in person. He said, I draw the line. He said, I won't do it. Now,
yeah,
I was okay with that. He was the only exception I ever made to that. Him and an Air Force guy who was seeing me because he saw something in the sky and thought it was a UFO and would lose a stripe or something, or get court-martialed if he, and he had clearance and all that stuff. So I didn't video his session either. The only two exceptions I ever made. But this guy was so prominent in the Tucson community. If I gave anybody in Tucson if I said his first name, everybody would know who he is. And he didn't want that. He didn't want that risk. So I get it. So the answer is no, I don't, but I probably should. Thanks for reminding me of that. Let's see.
Scott also wanted to know if your domains redirect to your main business page, or do you have separate sites on each of them?
No, they all redirect to my main page. All the hypnotherapy ones, I'll say hypnotherapy, redirect to Virtual Hypnosis Online. Even my old website, which people were still finding me on Google, motivatingmindshypnosis.com, that redirects to virtualhypnosis.com. All my stage appropriate domain names redirect to that. And I'm trying to figure out how to get all of your domain names to redirect to my site too.
Good luck.
That was just for me. Let's see. Why do you video record the sessions? Because I like to watch the funny things that people do. No, just for posterity. I mean, just in case. I want to make sure, and especially the first session, I do an eye catalepsy test with them and a time distortion test with them. And I want that all on video. So that way, in case they ever come back and they go, I wasn't into hypnosis because I didn't know, I didn't feel anything different.
Yeah.
I can say, let's watch the video.
Yeah.
I've never had it happen because of the way that I do my testing in session one. I discuss that with them in session one. And there's no doubt in their mind when they finish session one that they've experienced the hypnoidal state or hypnotic phenomenon.
Yeah.
So that we just kill that one right then and there.
And although there's no requirement, by the way, IACT and IMDHA both as a part of their ethics curriculum strongly encourage hypnotists to record their sessions just because of potential litigation and things like that. So a lot of people do it. I'm just saying this for Jane's benefit. A lot of people do it really because they've been sort of taught that this is a way to protect themselves and keep safe. And that said, it's not really something that I do regularly. But I understand why.
And I'll admit too that I sometimes forget to press the video button, the record button.
Yeah.
And Scott, yes, you are right. Jane asked, why do you video record your sessions? And Scott says, because I told him to. And yes, I've got to give credit where credit is due. Scott Babb is the reason why I started videoing my sessions in person in Tucson. And he told me how to do it. I bought all the equipment. I did it. It was easy. I did it for under $150, except for buying the DVDs, the burnable DVDs and all that stuff. So yeah, I strongly encourage people to do, especially if you're doing in-person sessions, video record the sessions, because all it takes is one goofball to say, he touched me or she touched me. And that's a career breaker. It ruins you for life. Yes. So don't be victim to that. And again, the two exceptions that I ever did was these were clients that, there was no danger of that at all. And the one guy even told me, I'll sign whatever other disclosure you need saying that you can touch me wherever you want to touch me and I won't sue you. And I'm like, well, I don't think that'll be necessary because I really don't want to touch you. Yeah. So you get a video release. Yes, it says so in my forms that I will be videoing you. So it's right there in the WUFU disclosure form.
Yeah.
So right there.
And it's not really a release that's required. It's you need to let them know that you're recording, of course, but you're not going to publish the video.
Nope. Nope. I'm going to do the best of probably one day. I'll do the best of smoker, the best of nail biters or something, you know.
Sure.
Probably not.
Great.
Yep.
All right,
So
well, we're coming towards the end here. So before we go, if you'll just let me make a really quick announcement here, and then we'll let you talk about your HT Live deal.
sure.
A good idea. So I want people to know, of course, I'm preaching to the choir because most of you have just been in the virtual hypnotist class. But in the last couple of days since your class ended, I got email from more people that missed that class that want to know if they can buy a recording from me or when it's coming up again or both. So it is coming up again the 29th of July, the 5th of August, and the 12th of August. And that'll be posted in the virtual hypnotist group. So if you know anybody that wants to get in on this, let them know that it is coming up, and we'll get the details out to all of you all. And again, the recording will be available of this tomorrow around about noon. I'm not quite sure if we'll be able to read all of the text on that web page that we were looking at. So I hope that you can. But Michael did a good job of telling you what he was doing and what was there and how to get there and to look at it for yourself, actually, on the World Wide Web at Michael's website. So, Michael, tell them about HypnoThoughts Live.
So HypnoThoughts Live this year, I'm going to be teaching a one-day post class on automating your business, building a virtual hypnosis practice and automating it or running it basically. The one thing I'm not going to teach is what Michael teaches on how to use Zoom and all that stuff, because what he teaches, I think, is great. That has to be a separate class than what I teach. So you're going to be getting more students from that one. I can promise you that too. But I'm going to teach you all the automation stuff, how to do it. We're going to get into the systems more. I'll have internet service there. I'm going to project everything on the big screen. We're going to push all the buttons. We're going to make things happen. I'll create a new booking page in my stuff for you, so that way we can see how it does. The thing that I've always taken pride on when I train a group of people, that you have after class support with me. So like even today in an hour and a half, we have covered a lot of information and too much information, quite honestly. I can see the look on your face, and it's like I know I talk fast. And if you remember 1/10 of this, you're smarter than I am. But it's just a lot of information. So if you get stuck with stuff, like me on Facebook, send me a message. We'll chat. We'll schedule a Zoom meeting, or go to my website and schedule a consultation. Just schedule a consultation with me and just put in, hey, we met on Michael Watson's thing, and I have questions, and we'll do that. I'm happy to do that for you. Again, I can't spend 8 hours with you, but I'll at least what was that schedule once hub thingy what was the thing that you said? You just need to refresh your memory. I'm happy to do that for you, because I know this is just a lot of information, and technology scares the hell out of everybody, myself included. But I will tell you, and I say this, I sound like I know what I'm talking about, but if I could do this stuff, you guys can too. I just wasn't afraid to press all the buttons. I bought the programs and went, I broke it. Dang it. Call tech support. I broke that one. Call tech support. It took me a long time to do this, but it's obviously paid off. Now it's just plug and play. So that class I'm teaching at HypnoThoughts, that's a one-day post class. You can go to htlive.net, check it out there, and the post-conference classes. Also, if you're interested in more trainings on online training that Dan and I are doing coming up here, we're doing 2 individual online trainings. And this is, again, because of you, Michael, because we figured out we could do trainings on Zoom too, because you got all these people here, these tiles right up on top. You could see them. You could mute them. They can raise their hand. They can ask questions. We're doing 2 days of training, I think 2 hours each, virtual hypnotic gastric band system, and Dan's patent and stop smoking program. And to find those, you go to experthypnosistrainingonline.com. Online is spelled out. experthypnosistrainingonline.com. And that information and that sign-up page was built through Builderall. So just even if you don't sign up for the class, just go check that out, and so you can see what it's capable of doing. And then it'll link all the people that sign up to Zoom and all that stuff too.
Great. And Cindy's asking, will you be recording the HT Live class for purchase?
You know what? That's a really good question. The intent is to do that. Yeah, the intent is to do that. I hope it works. Yeah, I'm going to do my very best to do that. I just don't know. I may end up teaching a class online, like we just did tonight, but like say a 4-hour class and recording that one. Yeah. Because then it's going to have screen shares and all that stuff, and I'll have to do less editing. But the intent, though, is going to be good. And you know, they say the what is it? The road to hell is paved by good intentions. Mm-hmm. So I will at least have one paved street to hell by the time Hypnosis is done. With the intention of recording it, I'm going to try my best. Honestly, then I have to do the editing after that and put it all together and sell it. And so that's going to be the little bit lengthier time. So it won't come out. It won't come out like right away, right after Hypnosis. Be a couple months after that. I've got other trainings around the world I'll be doing.
Lovely. Okay, so now guess what we're going to do, Michael? We do this all the time at the end of the virtual chapter, and so many other things that I'm associated with, and that is that we just are going to unmute all of these microphones. So in a great...
Do we sing a song? Do we sing the fight song?
Section, they can all thank you for your presence and being here and sharing so much with us. It's been great. So thank you, Michael. Say goodnight, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's great. Thanks.
We need a fight song. We got to have a fight song next time. Let's
You write it.
See you tomorrow night.
Hypnosis, go hypnosis, hypnosis, go hypnosis, go. And sleep.
Good night.
All right, we'll see you all later. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, guys.